Welcome to the Pulse of the Heartland podcast, the podcast where no topic is off limits. Now welcome the boys of the Heartland, Bryant, Ryan, Clark, Joey, and Trent.
Welcome to the Pulse of the Heartland podcast, episode 12. Again, thank you for listening to past episodes, sticking with us here and letting us know what you like and what you don't like. I feel like we are getting some comments on that. Hit us up on all of our socials. That's how you can get a hold of us and let us know all that stuff. Joey, what are the socials?
Twitter and Instagram are both at Heartland Pulse. Let us know on there in the DMs. Drop into our DMs. Let us know if we're doing something bad, something good. Then you'll also get a bunch of pictures of us smoking shit and just being normal Heartland boys. Facebook and our new YouTube. You can look up Pulse of the Heartland. You'll find us on both of those. YouTube will be putting out some short videos here and there, some compilations of our Instagram stories. And then Facebook will be announcing our podcast usually every 2 or 3 days.
All right, Joey, well, what are you drinking?
So tonight I walked through the aisles and pulled another Bryant, found a can that had a spaceman on it, and it's Voodoo Ranger's Future Hop Imperial IPA. It's really good, 8%. So I've only got 6 of them. No 1:30 a.m. podcasting for me this evening. So
it's got a spaceman on it. I mean, they feel like they missed their opportunity to call it astronauts in the ocean, but whatever.
Oh. Astronaut in the option.
I mean, where were they on that one? If I can come up with it, then surely they can.
Voodoo Ranger, come at us. We'll give you all the great ideas.
All right, Bryant, what are you drinking?
Drinking a little Rogue Honey Kolsch. I'm not sure how the fuck to pronounce it, but Kolsch. There we go. But it's got a pretty gnarly looking bee on it.
I was just going to ask you, well, what's on the can?
Yeah. I mean, it's a honey Kolsch, and it's got a bee on it, so it made sense to me. But he looks like an angry little fucker.
Oh, I thought you meant B, like B for Bryant. I was say you should give that to Crystal and let her
no,
put it in a
like a buzz bee.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, I want to know where Joey was going with that.
Well, put it in the what are those goddamn things called? Moms put together
a scrapbook.
Yeah.
Of all the beers that I drink.
Well, I thought maybe it had a B on it for Bryant, and just
this was Bryant's first beer.
Yeah. Far from it.
Steel Reserve.
Bryant's first beer. Where are my grandkids?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my first beer was a Bud Select way back in the day.
Who'd you get that from?
Was the black and had the red crown on it.
Yeah, I wonder who you got that from.
Yeah. Definitely wasn't my older brother, that's for sure.
All right, Ryan, what are you drinking?
So I stopped by Spearfish Brewing tonight. Spearfish Brewing is probably one of my favorite breweries actually out there. And the Black Hills does have quite a few good ones, but I am drinking a beer called Heavily Meditated. What's cool about the town of Spearfish is a lot of the small business like to collaborate with each other. And so they actually collaborated with the hot yoga studio to create this. So like I said, you'll probably make fun of me for this one tonight. But it's got honey, sea salt, and lavender in it. It's pretty good actually. 7%. So it's not, it's not like a 4.5%, but it's really good.
The ingredient they didn't list was sweat from the hot yoga studio.
Hey, that's all right. If it makes it taste this good, I'll drink it.
It's an extra salty mix here. I don't know what the hell's going on.
That's probably what the sea salt is sweat.
I bought some tights for a Halloween costume, but I'm not going to bash on anyone that wears yoga pants. God damn, those are comfy.
I might be doing poses over here while you guys are talking. Just let you know.
That's fine.
Doing the old lazy dog.
Yep.
Ryan's a little busy in the cow pose.
So is that where you were?
That's one I don't know, I guess, Clark. I've never heard of the cow pose.
Is that where you were hiking tonight, Ryan, in your pictures that you put on Instagram?
No, actually not. That was actually a real hike, but
no, I mean like around Spearfish.
Oh no, that was just outside of Sturgis. So that was actually just behind where I work.
Okay.
And I have not I've worked there for 8 years and never once thought, hey, I'm gonna go hiking right behind the building. And yeah, it's really cool trail system.
Yeah, that's what's cool about the Black Hills out there, like Sturgis, Spearfish, all those. There's always somewhere you can just go off in the wilderness in the mountains and just hike. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, and Clark, what are you drinking?
Evening, I took a lead from Ryan over there, got myself a bottle of Oak and Eden whiskey. I'm sipping on a little bit of the Rye and Spire with a little charred oak Spire in the blend. Drinking it neat right now. It is super smooth. So,
Trent, what are you sipping on?
I am drinking one of the most interesting beers I've ever had. It's actually pretty good. It's Omaha's Brickway Brewery. It's a jalapeno pineapple pilsner. Very interesting. So, like,
nice.
You drink it, you like taste the pilsner right away, and then you taste the jalapeno. It's crazy, but it's good. It doesn't. I don't know. It sounds weird, but I'll drink it. So.
Nice. So I don't know if Bryant remembers this, but we went to Omaha, I don't know, 3 years ago for a friend's get together. Bryant, do you remember that?
Yeah.
And that was the brewery I got kicked out of because it was during the Iowa-Nebraska game, and I was wearing an Iowa shirt. And all of a sudden, the waitress wouldn't come up and talk to me, wouldn't let me pay for anything, just told me to get out. And my brother goes, "What did you do?" I was like, "I literally just sat here, and I actually caught a glass that she dropped, and now I'm getting kicked out." So, yeah, good times.
What a dick move, catching a glass. Jeez.
Yeah, fucking Nebraska.
Yeah, no good deed goes unpunished, Joey.
No, that's what happens when you wear black and yellow in Omaha.
That's what I was just going to say. I bet you if anyone wore cardinal and gold over there in Iowa City, they would be treated with the utmost respect, right?
Yeah, always.
No name calling or no 5-0 under Campbell or some shit. Definitely all respect.
I mean, if I was bartending, yeah.
Yeah, because again, that's just free money. Yeah, the more you think about it, yeah, they're wearing a wrong team's color, but does the check clear? What?
Right. She should have literally just kept feeding me beers. I mean, I would have ran that tab up to God knows what.
Yep. Is this what fuels Joey's hate of Nebraska?
Part of it, yes.
This is his villain origin story. They stopped serving him beer once.
I blame it on the waitress.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The boys from the Heartland will be right back.
All right. Well, let's jump into college football. There wasn't a whole lot of college football going on last week. None of our teams played, obviously, because none of us are really Army-Navy fans. I'm a
fan of the Army and the Navy.
But... Yeah, but we don't actively root for their football. I do, I suppose. If they're playing, they're not playing my team. I always want the military academies to win. But
that's why Trent was rooting heavy for the Navy.
I think I was going Army on that one. But
I can't believe you'd betray Rusty like that. Don't you remember when Rusty was in the Navy?
So Navy did pull out the win, just as we all suspected. A low-scoring game, it always is. The over/under was 35 on that. 30 points were scored. I should have went to Larchwood and threw down money on it.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
Thank God we don't know any idiots that definitely put the over and Army covering on that. That'd be awful.
Everything I listened to this week said that it was going to be under. I do not know why I didn't listen, but I was like, oh, I'll give them a little bit more credit than that. But
well, usually that's when it's like when everyone is in consensus that it's going to go under and it's only 35. You're like, yeah, this is going to go over. This is like,
exactly.
Well, look at the first quarter. They had 17 points, and I'm bragging you guys. I'm like, yep, definitely going to keep up this pace in Army Navy, and then only 2 more touchdowns the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and listen to episode 10, I believe I said it ain't hitting 35. It's going to be under all day. And I didn't drive the 8 miles over to Larchwood to throw the money down. I should have. So
that's a long 8 miles, though.
I know. It really is. It's just a great game to watch. I love watching it with all the cadets there. Game day is always there. I watch it every year, even though it's not a high scoring shootout like, a lot of Big 12 games, but just a lot of respect for everybody playing in that game.
This would definitely be, this is like kind of on like, if I had like a bucket list of games I'd like to go to, I'd definitely like to go like, this is one of them. And like, I'd like to go to some weird, like not weird ones, but like Yale, Harvard, I think that'd be, we've seen a lot of Big 12 and Big 10 matchups in the middle of the country. It'd be interesting to go to like an Ivy League football game, to see what their tailgates are like.
For sure. I'm kind of curious. Is Army Navy always played at MetLife?
No, I thought they alternated like in Baltimore. I was going to say, I don't think they play like in Annapolis or anything or West Point.
No.
I'm going to try and look it up real quick.
So a little trivia question. Bryant did mention one of these schools, but does anybody know what the oldest, without looking, the oldest mascot is? And who college it represents?
It's Yale, right? The Bulldogs?
Correct. What's his name?
Fuck. Yaley.
No. It's Handsome Dan.
Handsome Dan? That's pretty...
I feel like I've heard Trent use this bit of trivia before.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of myself when we were in Denver for the NCAA tournament. George Niang and Monte Morris' senior year. The guy next to me, random dude, asked me that, and I knew it. So I was pretty proud of myself.
Trent's just full of useless knowledge.
Sorry, it looks like it was played in New Jersey to commemorate the 20th anniversary of 9/11 there.
Okay.
So I can't find out where. I mean, with minimal research, I don't see where they always play, but that's why I was there this week.
We're gonna have to figure out where it's at next year.
Yeah,
Heartland posted the Heartland road trip.
Howard Wood Field in Sioux Falls, I think.
Howard Wood, yeah, I'll be there.
But no, I'd say that's where, and I put a little research into this one. This is where, like, I think if you had to sell people on this game, not only like one, it's the only game on television, so you're kind of obligated to watch it. Like, I mean, just well, what else were you watching if you weren't watching Army Navy?
I was napping and watching The Office.
Oh my god! Jeez, Steve Carell appreciates you cashing a little bit, put a little bit extra on his check here. You've only watched it how many times, Joey?
A lot, 56.
Yeah, don't say a lot because I know exactly how many times you watched it. Yeah, wouldn't want to watch a historic game like Army Navy, but no, I mean,
yes, very historic. Who won last year's game and by how much?
Army won.
By how much?
I think it was like, I believe it was like a 10-17 game.
There were probably about 5 passes total.
Yeah.
And
600 yards. Mac Jones.
I very much support the troops, but I watched 12 weeks of Big Ten football. I don't need to watch a week 13 after the Big Ten championship game. I don't need to see a 10-7 game. So I'm good.
Yeah, these offenses. Too many points for an Iowa fan, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Army had won 3 straight, I believe.
Well, see, super historic.
And now Army, they go on and they play Missouri in their bowl game.
Yeah,
they're
nice.
8-4, I believe. Going to play Missouri.
Well, that's what them, and I know it's a rivalry game, but I think I had Army beating Missouri. Now it kind of has me worried because obviously Navy was only, I think, 4-8 this year. But it kind of makes me wonder if I need to switch it up to, I guess depending on how many people Missouri playing. But we obviously know Army's going to be disciplined, but can they make up on the size in that game?
Right. So, Bryant, you're picking these bowl games? Where are you picking these bowl games at?
Oh, we got a little bit of a challenge, and we've sent it out to the folks on ESPN. We got a little bowl matchup here, so we'll actually, I think, tweet it, and we'll. I think we sent it on Facebook earlier this week, and we'll try and do it on Facebook a couple more times just to try and max out how many people want to join in. And you can definitely see, you can be listening to this podcast and saying, "What a bunch of fucking idiots! I know better than them." Well, then prove it. We got this group. Password is Heartland1, capital H, Heartland1. Just join us and see who actually can, back up the talk that they have.
Exactly. I would love to take all of the shit talk from everybody and just shove it back down your faces.
Yeah, I'm picking underdogs and off of mascots. So go me.
Yes.
Clark will be the winner. I predict that.
I mean, Joey over here is talking a huge game on
He
this
is.
Bowl Mania.
He's never done that before.
No,
on anything.
No, never.
I'm surprised he hasn't put $10 a game on it yet.
Against
Oh, there's
everybody.
like-
No,
there's like
I'm not.
40
I am not
41
doing that.
games.
Disclaimer, law. I'm not doing that.
All right, and the Heisman Trophy was also presented on Saturday. Shocker, a quarterback from a team in the playoff won.
I was glad I was sitting down when I was watching the ceremony because I would have keeled over. I was so shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bryce Young, he won. Alabama's quarterback. That's all it is anymore. I hate in his speech. He said he's always been an underdog. Come on, dude. You're a
You play
five-star
for
quarterback.
the best team. And how are you an underdog?
Yeah, you're going to Alabama. You were recruited by every college in the country.
For anyone that doesn't keep up with like high school recruiting, he was the number one recruit, number one quarterback at the number one high school, Mater Dei in Cali, I believe, and went to the number one school. But keep telling us how you're an underdog because what is he like 5'8" or something? You know, is that his hiccup that he's got going on?
So I heard a story this week that first time Nick Saban ever talked to him, it was a 10-year-old Pee Wee football game.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. Yep. And then they just spiraled from there.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's been an underdog ever since he was 10, apparently.
Right.
You know why he was an underdog? Nick Saban didn't talk to him when he was 9. He didn't talk to him in first grade. Like, what the hell, man?
Right.
Yeah. Runner-up was Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. I think that was well designed on his part there. Third was Kenny Pickett. He now has changed the rule book.
Change the game.
Yep.
Yep.
Do not fake slide anymore. So,
Which good. They must have listened to our pod and really delved into our opinions there.
that's right.
We keep changing the game for the better. I don't know why more people don't listen to this.
I mean, we're basically restructuring the whole playoff system every week.
We got to be a little bit underground, though. We can't get all of this information out. Then everyone's just going to start having the right opinions, you know?
True.
That's right.
They just need to listen to Trent's picks every once in a while, and we'll be fine.
Yeah. I like how Joey is
The only person that's as low as
shit-talking
you are.
here, and we have the same record.
Yep.
And you needed
It happens. You're on a win streak, buddy.
we call that a streak. Okay.
I just won one. So
Okay.
Who had to send who money through Venmo this weekend?
Yeah. My Venmo account's getting good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ohio State's quarterback got 4. So that was the 4 players that were sent to New York for this. Brees Hall, he ended up 10th. I think he got 6th last year.
Yep.
He probably could have been a little higher this year, in my opinion, but I mean, he wasn't going to be in the top 4 and sent to New York. So,
yeah.
Since he's quarterback, Desmond Riddler. So, I would like to see him be a little higher, being, an undefeated team, the only undefeated team, and then making the playoff. But
talk about an underdog.
Yeah. My question is, do we think the Heisman Trophy has lost its luster? I do, because it isn't necessarily the best player anymore. It is the best player in the playoff.
I mean, Joey was talking about during the Army-Navy game, hey, I'm taking a nap and watching The Office. That's me for the Heisman now. Like, I set an alarm for, I think, like when it started, I set it for 50 minutes. I don't need it to be a fluffer event for all these athletes that we've seen play well every year. That needs to be a 30-minute ceremony. Hey, here they are. Here's a couple highlights. And no commercials. Just get to the point. We've watched enough college football all year. We don't need to see how the Bryce Young, hey, I'm an underdog. Here's my story. No, you're not. You're at Alabama. I guess it is kind of nice. He's been throwing in our face all year, maybe learning of the other ones, but I think for a common fan, just get to the pick. I want to know who you chose, hear the acceptance speech, and kind of go from there.
Yep, 1,000%. I had it on while the prelims for UFC was playing, and I wouldn't even have done that if I didn't have money on Bryce Young. Like, I didn't give two shits about the rest of it. Like, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So,
Hey, what odds did you have on Bryce?
So we do you pick four offensive players and one dark horse at the beginning of the year, and then it's $25 a person. So Bryce Young was actually my first pick this year. So
yeah, mine was a Spencer Rattler, and by game 4 he was the backup, and before the end of the year he was in the transfer portal. So I did really well.
And now he's in
Carolina now.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we all expected, he went to USC.
Yeah, he went to the wrong one, but I wouldn't say the wrong one. Maybe he didn't like Lincoln Riley, so
or Lincoln Riley didn't like him.
Lincoln Riley was trying to get him to go to USC, is what I had heard.
Yeah, told him good luck, LOL. But he apparently he worked with Shane Beamer, who was at Oklahoma, and he's at South Carolina now. So I think that's where the connection came from. Plus, honestly, maybe with how he played this last year, maybe some of it's okay. If I make this SEC team look good, I'll get the recognition I should, compared to how the media kind of shits on Big 12, even though we have had some decent defenses the last few years.
Well, especially since OU is the Big 12.
Oh, sorry. I was in South Carolina mode. Yeah, they're really the Big 12 because they're in the championship this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've just been carrying the Big 12 for so long.
Them in Texas. Yep.
Yeah. How many championships has Texas won of the Big 12 the last decade?
All of them. I don't know.
As many as Iowa State. So don't.
Are we talking in the season or preseason?
Preseason, they're 10-0.
Did they earn them, or were they given?
Iowa State had their first preseason championship this year, and look how that went for them.
Brian, while we're in college football mode here, you got any Sark hate for us this week?
No, I actually do have a Saban stat since we're on the Heisman here. So far, or I guess before Saban went to Alabama, they had never won a Heisman. And since Saban's been there, which I don't know how many years that is, he's had 4, which now puts the program 5th all time for total Heisman winners.
Damn.
Does that have any? Well, I guess they were a championship school back in the day before Saban even. But I was going to say, how much of that has to do with them being in the national championship every year? So.
Oh yeah,
so can we say that Saban?
I mean, they have 18 championships too, and it's just weird. Like we're always talking about how this is the best player on the championship team, and never having it before Saban. I don't know. Maybe some of that's just national exposure compared to back in the day when they were good. Maybe they weren't on national television. I really couldn't tell you.
Or maybe back in the day, the Heisman was actually given to the best player, and the best player wasn't on Alabama.
They looked at stats and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
So who would you have given it to this year?
Brees Hall. No, he didn't.
I knew it. I knew
it. Homer Bryant strikes again.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say one of them that really stuck out, and I think we forgot to mention, was Kenneth Walker was 6th. He led that team. They weren't undefeated, and they didn't quite make their conference championship game. But is that team 10-2 without Kenneth Walker? All I'm going to say is Alabama, are they 11-1 or 10-2 without Bryce Young? Yes. I don't know. Really, when you're looking at his stats, Bryce Young, he had 43 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So he didn't turn the ball over, which, I guess maybe you can look at, Alabama wasn't the same Alabama this year, but they still got Alabama talent. So I don't know. I probably would have picked Kenneth Walker, honestly.
Yeah. There just really wasn't any other quarterbacks to me that had the stats that Bryce Young did. And I'm with you guys. Like, I don't think that the Heisman means what it did before, but I also don't think they got it completely wrong this year. Although I do like the Kenneth Walker being in there instead of like maybe Pickett or CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I think Hutchinson should have been. Yeah, I don't know. This year seemed like they got it right, and last year it did too because of Devonta Smith. but the other people that were invited, the other finalists, didn't seem like they really deserved that to be there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. This is also one of those years where there wasn't really a dominant team either. So I think that's where it's kind of it was a little goofy, which again, when a D end is second in the Heisman, that's always going to be weird.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Joey, I know you don't like to talk about Nebraska, but whenever we're seeing a defensive lineman there, you always got to think about how Ndamukong Suh got screwed.
Oh man, that's my favorite stat line of all time. I know I tweeted that to you guys before, but like his stat line that year against the defensive lines of the national champion Alabama team and other things, like it's just fucking insane how he didn't win it. He was better than whole defensive lines, which was insane.
He was matching everything, I think, except for total tackles, and that's 4 people compared to 1. And he wasn't that far off.
So he had 82, and Alabama, who won the national championship, had 98 for their whole defensive line. I mean, just astonishing. So,
just insane, man.
Mm-hmm. I will actually retweet this on our Twitter because I just think it's awesome. So
yeah, no, it's a good reminder for the young folks out there.
Mm-hmm.
So since Brian didn't have any Sark hate, I just sent a picture that it's been going around on Twitter in the group text here, so somebody can throw that up on Twitter. But it's the North Pole assassin. Yeah, it's. I find that extremely funny. So
I mean, we gotta laugh at Texas right now because apparently they're just starting to buy their players now, and I think they're going to be scary the next couple years here.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody saw this. I'm glad you brought that up. Lane Kiffin, did you see his interview or his press conference tonight? I'm not sure what he. Mm-mm. So he was saying that he's like, I don't think anybody else is saying this right now, but I'll just come out and say it that there is free agency in college football now.
Yep.
And he just straight up said, he's like, you know, you're going to these recruits and they're straight up telling you, well, this school is going to give me this much. This school is going to give me more. So I'm not coming there. And that's what the name, image, and likeness has brought to college sports now. He didn't seem too thrilled about it. He's like, it is what it is. And that's the age we live in. But free agency is now in college football.
It's going to allow us to bring back NCAA football, though, on Xbox.
Hell yes. They could pay them all they want if I get that back. Yeah. I will even adopt a kid or be a booster or some shit.
Joey's going to throw in some money.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let you adopt an 18-year-old as a single 34-year-old. I think they're going to really – I think you're going to get on some registry there, Joey.
Wait, if it was an 18-year-old, it'd be fine, right? I mean,
let's not
if I'm just going by age, Jesus, let's move on. This is gross.
All right.
I was going to say it's just like with the NIL. Again, I don't think anyone in the world. There was some fight back last year, and probably even by me a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, it's like cool. You have this Jared Casey. He's getting his Applebee's. You know, I scored a 2-pointer. Do the 2 for 20, and good. You're making your money, and some of these kids making their money too, but. Just basically having straight up free agency. Everyone can say, oh, that's how it's always been done. But I don't know, man. I think it kind of tarnishes college sports a little bit, especially when, Texas is probably one of maybe 10 schools that actually turn a profit in athletics. Everyone else is kind of running at a loss, and they're just blatantly $50,000 for every lineman, $100,000 for this, like you said, basically free agency at this point.
So what was his name? Jared Casey?
Yeah, the tight end for Kansas.
I'm Googling what was his deal with Applebee's. Because it's going to be amazing, like what he got with them compared to like what these offensive linemen are supposed to get at Texas. I'm reading here.
Well, and we're only talking about, the football players while you're looking at. I mean, imagine what some of these, female athletes in lesser sports are getting.
Here's the deal he got. So what was the deal with the Texas linemen? Like 80,000 or something crazy like that?
50,000.
50,000. Okay. So Jared Casey filmed a commercial in Lawrence, Kansas with Applebee's. Mm-hmm. Casey told the Kansas City Star that he received $800 cash and $1,000 in Applebee's gift cards as the deal. Nice.
It's a lot of 2 for 20s right there, dude.
Yeah, there you got a point. But it's just crazy, like how these big schools like Texas is the money schools are gonna, pay these linemen so much money, and then this guy gets basically $1,800.
Yeah, exactly. A guy he's not quite a household name, but everyone knows. Oh yeah, the tight end from Kansas getting 1,800. The third string, Texas lineman who might not do anything, $50,000. You know, where do you think all the recruits are going to start going? I hear it. SMU's starting to do the same thing as well, and they're the originator of the death penalty.
Yeah. And I mean, they must have some boosters with some pretty deep pockets if they can start affording something crazy like that too.
Yeah. Well, those boosters better start paying up, I guess, because they've really fucked the program the last 10 years. I guess maybe this is them telling them, all right, you're going to come to our meetings and tell us how to run the factory. You're going to start, you're really going to start paying for it at this point.
What, at Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was that? It was like 800,000 just for their offensive line or something like that.
Well, yeah, I guess 16 linemen by 50,000. So yeah, 800,000.
So yeah, almost $1 million just for the offensive linemen. So then you got to look at their quarterbacks. It's probably going to be like the NFL. The quarterbacks are going to get paid. The offensive linemen, the running backs are going to get paid more. The receivers. So what are they going to get? They're going to pony up 100 grand for quarterbacks.
I think, like you said, I think it's just going to be free agency, and obviously the market's going to settle itself in a little while. But I mean, this is where the big dogs are going to start, really coming in. Like, I've been trying to think of a good analogy, and really the only thing I can think of was like back in the day, PlayStation was selling. They kind of set the market for how much a PlayStation would cost, and then Xbox came in because Microsoft had all the money in the world. They literally just sold all their consoles for $100 less to make PlayStation start making less money just so they could get in. And now, Xbox is one of the big three. Xbox, PC, PlayStation, not to be nerdy, but, that's what Texas is going to do. They're just going to outbid everyone. And then all of a sudden that's going to just start their recruiting, even more. They've been losing a lot of these athletes that they probably could get in Texas going to the SEC. And obviously before they go in, now they're going to establish the market, get all these free agents and athletes to start going there. And, it's not going to be shocking where now when they're in the preseason top 10, it goes, well, it makes sense. You got the top free agent, you got, the best line in the world because you're paying $50,000 for everyone. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the next few years because the transfer portal has been pretty scary these last few days, especially at Iowa State and other schools where you're not used to instantly these players are leaving too.
Yeah, especially starters like Sheem Young for Iowa State. Starter gone. So,
But I think that's just going to be the new standard. Any school, LSU, Iowa, they're all going to start losing those players, but pretty soon we're going to start seeing the ones that were unhappy at their school getting their playing time or whatever and start coming here and, going to a school that makes sense for them too. So that obviously more freedom to these players, the better.
Yeah, totally agree. So, well, since Joey's been talking a lot of smack, let's just roll into our...
Hey, Trent, 1 second.
Yep.
Can we talk about how amazing Brian Kelly is?
Oh, my God.
At dancing?
Just everything. I mean, he goes down to LSU, and he's got an accent with his family, and now he's doing disco dancing to Colin Baton Rouge with his 5-star quarterbacks. The guy... So did somebody go to him and say, hey, you're the most disliked guy in college football right now. You need to try to become somewhat relatable to everyone? It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's got to be, doesn't it? Because, imagine him doing a silly dance at Notre Dame, dude. Maybe they just had him all stuffed up and this is the true him.
Absolutely. He would never do that. And I guess as an LSU guy, you have to be happy that he got the 5-star quarterback because he was looking to transfer away from LSU until Brian Kelly came in. But is he going to do this for every player? I certainly hope so because it's entertaining.
If you're a 5-star, you get a Fortnite dance. But if you're like a 3-star, you kind of get just like a foot tap there.
Yeah.
They're hey, bring him to LSU, and there he is. Now they're like, okay, let's do the most cringe-worthy things we can think of.
What's the latest TikTok trend? They'll do that.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with him, but hopefully he relaxes a little bit. And some of the stories that came out about him, he seems like he's a pretty miserable person to be around. But maybe it's a new Brian Kelly.
He's just all about the family.
Yeah, my family.
He could play Forrest Gump in the new sequel if they wanted to.
So yeah, like I said, you guys can be happy about recruits, throwing hats behind their back, but until Campbell's out there doing some awesome dancing, I don't know what you're happy about.
But that like, if you would have told me in my day, there's going to be not only just a decent lineman or athlete or whoever, and first off, you're in the category of Texas A&M, SEC, Oregon, Nike school, Ohio State, a top school in Iowa State. I go, all right, that's kind of laughable having our hat there. And then you choose the one hat that I hate the most. You pretend to put it on and throw it over your shoulder. Oh, I loved every freaking second of it, dude.
He's gonna be upset when Matt Campbell's coaching OSU though, and he missed out on him.
And by the way, that is the oldest fucking thing the last few weeks. There's a janitor position in Notre Dame. Is Matt Campbell going there?
Yep.
Oh, is there? Someone thinks James Franklin's going to leave. Matt Campbell going to go there? I mean, geez, it just gets fucking old, dude. He didn't leave for Notre Dame. He didn't leave for Oklahoma. He didn't leave for USC. He ain't leaving for shit.
Well, and and it's nothing against him. I think he's a good quarterback. But what was their record this year? He's the most popular 7-game coach on the market right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I don't get where every single time it's Campbell's going to leave for this job. He's had every opportunity he's won for a job that he may want in the last 2 to 3 years. Like after the 9-3 year, that's when we figured he might leave. But if he isn't leaving now and he's continuing to recruit and bring these kids in, just realize he's there to stay in Ames.
Yeah, and good for Notre Dame getting Marcus Freeman as their coach. It seems like the players really liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Matt Campbell thing, it's funny, like on Twitter, that you just watch Twitter and like opposing fan bases on Twitter like, oh, he sucks. He's a terrible coach.
But we'll take him.
He can't win 7 games. Oh, opening at USC. Then I thought you said he sucked.
He'll be moving to the Minnesota Vikings next year.
All right. I mean, I hate to see him leave Iowa State, but if he's going to leave Iowa State, he might as well go to my other favorite team.
Yeah.
Well, not if the Bears don't catch him first.
Is that another rumor that the Joey of Pulse of the Heartland wants to start? Matt Campbell to the Bears.
Breaking news. That's a Joey Mahosky exclusive.
Nagy's out. Matt Campbell's in.
Oh, shit. I wasn't going to get my last name out. God damn it.
Now we know how old you are, too. Jesus.
Yeah. You might as well just say your mother's maiden name and your social security number at this point, Joey.
What's your routing number?
Right now?
6875309.
Tommy Two-Tone.
Yep. Got it in the notes. Let's go buy some shit.
Good luck.
The boys from the Heartland will be right back.
All right. So now that Joey's back and he has talked a lot of game on his picks, let's recap those picks, Joey.
Hey, do I have to go? Oh, I'll still be in line.
We're not picking yet.
I know. I'm just saying.
All right.
Yeah, I took the Falcons to cover at 2.5 over Carolina, and they sure as fuck did, 29-21. Yep. So we do a thing at work where we pick all the games every week. I only missed 3 this week. Thank you very much.
Sounds like there's room for improvement.
Yep. Well, I'm sitting.
You missed less at work this week than you have all year with us. It sounds like you're just giving us your B game at this point.
Well, you guys are like putting a gun to my head. I had to pick right on the spot. Like, damn, it just kind of sucks.
You have all week to research this. We're not making you do it as we're recording.
You think I actually do research before this thing? Come on.
I usually pick blindly. I just hit the list and scroll whatever it lands on.
Like I said, Joey's giving us his B game here. It's a bit insulting. I put a lot of thought and effort into mine.
Yeah, the Chiefs every week. All right. Well, my pick was the Detroit Lions plus 7.5 versus the Denver Broncos, and Denver absolutely killed them. We give the Lions so much love. They go and they beat the Vikings last week, and then they can't even cover 7.5 versus Denver. I am so disappointed in the Vikings, in the Lions. We are no longer a Lions podcast.
I feel like you should be more disappointed in the Vikings because that means they're worse than the Broncos, right?
Well,
we knew that already, though.
Yeah, we knew that already when we lost to the Lions last week.
Yeah. We haven't been promoting the Vikings as a top-tier team there, Clark.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one week where the Vikings are good.
They're good, but they're also bad. They're kind of, they got three personalities.
Yeah. Like I saw this tweet that said the Vikings could win the Super Bowl this year or they could lose out, and neither of them would surprise me.
Yeah. This would be the most Vikings thing ever to have to win out to make it to the playoffs only to win the Super Bowl. That would be the most Viking thing ever.
Yeah.
Or they make it to the playoffs and Kirk Cousins gets COVID the first playoff game. One of those two.
That'd be the most Vikings thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next up in the standings is Clark.
Yep, I took the Washington football team to cover 4 points against the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know where that Washington football team was at in the first half of that game. They came out completely stagnant in the first half. Their possessions in the first half went punt, interception, scoop and score, punt, into the half. They were down 24-0 going into the half. It was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, at that point, I just did not care. It's like, well, that was the pick of my career ever. So, and then they came back in the second half and they started to act like they were alive. They did come back to a 7-point. I was impressed by the second half, but shit, if that team had shown up in the first half, could have been a different story.
I've said this before earlier on one of our earlier podcasts. I don't know who's good. There's so many teams that they look like they're great, and then the next week they're terrible. And with Washington, they look absolutely awful the first half, and in the second half they look like a good playoff team.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the NFC stats right now, but I know one stat I did write down. I mean, the AFC, the top 13 seeds have at least 6 wins, and the top team, the Patriots and Titans and Chiefs, have 9. So they're all within 3 games with 3 games left. I think there's only 3 teams that are not in the playoffs, right? Or mathematically eliminated?
Yeah.
Yes. 3 teams. You're correct.
I mean, just that. It's just insane this week, late in the year, we're having this many teams, and usually it's like, well, it's down to these 7, and we're slowly breaking it down to in the hunt. The hunt still has 6 fucking teams in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 24 of the 32 teams have 6 wins or better and are in the hunt for the playoffs. What a crazy year! Holy shit!
That's why the NFL is so good.
Mathematically, were eliminated from the playoffs this week. But
yes,
logically they were eliminated before week 1 started.
Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. You're going to do Lions fans like that?
No, I said the Jets.
Oh, the Jets. I'm sorry. Yeah, of course. I agree with that 100%.
No, and after what the Lions did to me this week, yes, also them.
Oh, man. I don't blame you, though.
Hey,
but this week and last week?
The Lions did not have that, much awaited 0-17 season. Thank you, Vikings.
Yep, exactly what I was getting at. Good one.
Yeah, they're going to be 0-0 or 0-16-1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Steelers.
Speaking of teams not making the playoffs, is Urban Meyer the poorest sport in all of sports? I get you're used to winning, but holy shit, the limp fish handshake and
God.
For what these players are getting paid, they should be better. And he literally just goes, yeah.
Yep.
Gee, if that's all the effort I got to put in to be an NFL head coach, I'll put in an application right now.
There's no way he goes more than this year, is there? I don't see it.
No, absolutely not.
I thought he was going to be gone when he was hanging out at clubs at too late in the night,
sticking his fingers in butts.
And then
finger gun there.
He holds a a team or a meeting with his assistant coaches and then makes them defend their resume.
Oh.
Dude, you hired these guys.
Yep.
What idiot hired you fucks? Oh, it was me? Shit.
Well, then Marvin Jones walking out. Everything I've heard this week is Marvin Jones has always been a stellar player and everyone loves him. So to upset him enough to walk out seems like a pretty big deal.
Right. Yeah. And it sucks so bad. And I know I text you guys this. I don't know who looked more dead inside, him or Trevor Lawrence on the sideline. Like, what the fuck, man? I've never seen that on a sideline before. Even like the 0-16, even the Lions when they were winless still. I remember there's Troy Aikman Thanksgiving Day was like, they still have a lot of fight. I was really surprised. I don't know if I'd have that same fight. And the Jags just look dead. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Maybe
leadership.
that all
leadership is what's going on.
Yes, I was going to say maybe that all stems from Urban Meyer, because look at the Lions. Like, Dan Campbell gives a crap.
Urban Meyer does not give a shit.
Exactly.
No.
I think a lot of it too is he's got a different coaching mentality. I mean, he was successful at, all the way from Bowling Green when he first started, all the way up to Ohio State, because he could kind of rule with an iron fist, and he kind of had his network at Ohio State. He knew everything that was going on under the sun. These are paid professional athletes. You can't run a team the same way. You got to have that lax and know that they're, in the off season going to be doing their workouts. You can't have mandatory workouts until they come in. They're professionals. They're not kids that you can control. And, thankfully before not thankfully before the transfer portal came out, he could go, well, what are you going to do? Transfer out and wait a year. And then, you're burning up your time as an athlete. He can't do that now. These guys will just say, fuck you, we quit. And then look at where they're at now.
He doesn't know how to deal with grown ass men. That's what it tells me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he's out there still partying and shit, I mean, what kind of responsibility is that setting or displaying that that's what he's doing out there freaking with high school or college girls? There's just no element of leadership in this display at all. If he's still there, like, just mark off the Jags for next year.
That being said, the Jags minus 3.5 this week looks pretty good.
This is who?
Texans.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'll take that. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
That's another toilet bowl here this weekend.
Exactly. But what I was going to say is, not only did you guys remind us that Urban Meyer was a winner before and told all of our listeners about how good he was prior to the Jaguars, he also, in his assistant coaches meeting, reminded them of how he was a winner before this and how they're all losers. What a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
God, I hate him so much.
I didn't like him when he was a college coach.
Me either. God.
There is going to be an Urban Meyer Bowl. Ohio State plays Utah. That's kind of interesting. I saw.
Nice. That would just need Bowling Green to play Florida.
Was Alex Smith at Utah when Urban Meyer was there?
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah, he was the last quarterback he had there.
I'm kind of curious to know what Alex Smith would have to say about him.
I know Tebow loves him, but
he also AJ Hawk has nothing but good to say about him.
Yeah, well, what's his face?
That's just
Aaron Hernandez did too, and we all know how that turned out.
Hawk just loves going to the chop house. That's why he is down.
Nothing better than a little steak, whiskey, and a cigar at the chop house with Urban.
That's right.
Right.
All right, Ryan, tell us a little bit about your pick.
Took Tampa Bay minus 3.5 over Buffalo. They pulled the Vikings. They were up quite a bit, and then second half tried to blow the lead to Buffalo, but they went into overtime and covered for me.
And you needed overtime for that to cover, correct?
I absolutely needed overtime. I texted you guys when they were up, what was it, 27-24 or whatever?
Yep.
Yep. And absolutely needed that overtime. They got it and got the touchdown. So thank you, Tom.
Counts all the same.
It counts all the same.
And Mr. Heated Picker, Bryant.
I know. I hate that the folks have to wait so long for my pick to come in because I just keep winning. So I'm always the last one. But yes, I took a big stretch. I thought the Green Bay would just demolish the Bears. And I'll be honest, I I turned the game off second quarter because I was just watching the Packers not be able to do anything. Fields and, they were blocking well. This is the Chicago team that Nagy probably thought he was going to have all year. And so I turned on Home Alone, and all of a sudden I start getting alarms on my phone that, the game starts to get close. And by the time I had turned it on after the first touchdown in the second half, it had already scored another one. So I was like, I don't know. Rodgers, he is just – I hate him because he is so damn good, and he wasn't on my team before Mahomes. But, Green Bay pulled it out, and then they almost had a backdoor cover. The Bears freaking recovered an onside kick and missed their opportunities there, but –
Chicago actually looked good the first half, which scares me with us going against them Monday night.
Yeah. Also, I didn't know this research before the game, but Aaron Rodgers 21-7 against the spread versus the Bears in his career. So that's usually a pretty safe bet.
Yep.
All right, so
the city of Chicago.
It was mentioned that the Vikings did play Thursday night. They played the Steelers. They pulled out a victory, 36-28. They were up big, and they let Big Ben, who looks like he's about, 70 years old out there on the field right now, come back, and they had a chance to tie it at the end.
Yeah, they, Ben and his center did not look like they were on cue at all the whole game. They looked bad. They were not. Yeah, they just didn't know what was going on with each other, it seemed like. But I don't know. Is there anything else to say that we've been saying the whole season? They look amazing one half and then terrible the second half. This Vikings team just has no consistency.
Yeah. Minnesota was up 29-0. Like, I looked at the score, and it was, I can't remember what it was. It was like 26-0. So I'm not watching the score anymore. And all of a sudden I get a Snapchat from my coworkers that's got the score in it. I'm like, does that say what I think it says? It's like 29-20. Like, that can't be right. So I checked the score, and of course the Vikings had just blown that lead.
I was trying to be very positive this whole game. I had a buddy text me saying, they're going to find a way to blow this. And I'm just like, there's no way with a quarter and a half left they're going to allow Pittsburgh to score 30 points. And I was right. They only scored 28. But it's just stupid. But, a couple things. Harrison Smith at the end there, phenomenal play to break up that pass to win the game. He's an incredible safety. That guy is just awesome. And then I liked what I saw with Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr he's one of those players that Vikings fans are very divided on. He's hurt a lot. He got a big contract. He did renegotiate this year, and the Vikings got a little bit better deal with him. But the Vikings, they were leading so well there, up 29-0, like you said. And then they got a touchdown, and then we were about to stop them, and one of our cornerbacks, I believe Chris Boyd, made a boneheaded penalty of taunting, gave them an automatic first down when it should have been 3rd and 15 or something like that. And then Barr basically said, get the hell off the field. And he wasn't playing the rest of the night. And so good for Barr for having some leadership there and calling players out. But
yeah, the Steelers scored those. They scored 20 points to pull within 9 in 5 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah. And one was a pretty poor pass by Kirk. That was a bad interception that he threw. But then the other one, Justin Jefferson's a phenomenal receiver. I think he's a top 3 receiver in the league, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
But he's not much of a hands receiver. If it goes right to his hands, it seems like he has a harder time bringing it in. So he had one that flew off of his hands and got intercepted. And I can't really say anything too bad because he is a absolute phenomenal wide receiver. But yeah, just some bad turnovers, but they got the win. W's W. Move on, and hopefully they can win out and get in the playoffs.
If the Vikings had lost this game, 29-0, and they end up losing, is this a burn your Vikings jerseys done with the fandom type of loss, or
No.
How bad would it be?
Only maybe if it's a Mike Zimmer jersey.
Yeah,
maybe
for some, but we talked about it last week. It's football. I mean, who cares? In the grand scheme of things, it's football.
Anything else to add with the Vikings there, Ryan? I don't have anything. I really didn't watch the game because Thursday night there was a lot going on with the Vikings, Iowa State. We'll get to that in the next pod, and then the rodeo was on, so I didn't really watch any of it. But
yeah, Nope. Basically just Monday night against the Bears. Division games are always difficult.
Yes.
So we'll see.
All right.
So they basically need to win out and get some help with Washington losing another game or two.
So the Chiefs, they played a division game this week versus the Raiders, and the Raiders made one giant mistake before the game started, I feel like.
Yeah, they decided after they got demolished in the first game to go out and kind of get hype on the logo, because I think it was last year or 2 years ago they did laps around the field, and apparently they thought they had the Chiefs number this year, which they definitely did not.
Yeah, I saw the commentators in this one after the Chiefs went up like 28-0 in the second quarter was like, oh, I think the Raiders are going to save gas by not driving laps around the stadium in their bus this year. I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, this is one of those, like, I always kind of hate the Raiders as is, but when you see that stuff pregame and you're like, whatever, we just need to demolish them. And then the first play you fumble the ball, return, fumble 6, you're like, okay, if you're going to stomp on a logo and be the badasses, okay, it's fine. That is absolutely the only thing you could not have done in that. I mean, fall for a 5-yard loss. Who cares? But, they just got absolutely spanked in this game. There's absolutely – I don't even know if there's anything positive you can say about the Raiders at this point.
What's worse, that or Jackson Mahomes dancing on the logo?
I don't even know if Jackson Mahomes is there. He's sending some cryptic tweets, and I'm still deciphering it.
Trying to do some.
Yeah, what the fuck is he talking about?
I don't care.
But 89-23 is the season score for the Chiefs Raiders. My God, that's domination.
Did not realize it was that bad. Remember at the beginning of the season when the Raiders were good and they were like,
they may have gotten rid of their head coach.
Yeah.
And then Ruggs and everything. I mean, if you think about it, they're actually not bad. Obviously, against the Chiefs, they were terrible. But I mean, for what they've went through this year, that's a lot of shit. So
I think they're also missing Waller as well.
Right. I saw he didn't practice again today and is probably out for Thursday's game or whatever.
No, I mean, Derek Carr, as much as people kind of shit on him, he's trying to hold that team together, and he doesn't cause many mistakes. I mean, it's because they get down so much where he has to, force the ball, and then they come up. But I think he does as best as he can for the situation he's freaking been in. You almost feel bad for the guy, except I can't because he's a Raider. But any other team, I'd feel kind of bad. If he was the Lions or Bears quarterback, I'd feel a little bad for him.
I mean, technically, the Raiders are still in the hunt. Just saying. They're 6-7.
Yeah. You know who else is technically still in the hunt? The Chicago Bears. The Giants. There's teams that are still in the hunt that, yes, technically, but.
It could happen.
Yeah, I could win the lottery. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen.
If I were a betting man, I wouldn't take the Raiders. So.
Okay. Yeah,
they'll be there.
That's the safest bet Joey
Hamilton bet.
I'm not doing another Hamilton bet on the Raiders.
Do you have anything to add to the Chiefs there, Clark?
No, I mean, as I said, that first possession where they literally cough it up and turns into scoop and score for the Chiefs, like that play happens, it's like, yeah, that's karma. All right, that's what they deserve. And then it just kept going throughout the first half, and you're like, man, they must took a shit on the logo or something. This is bad.
Yeah, that first play kind of set the tone, and there was no looking back.
Yeah,
Clark, if you don't mind me asking, who are your most hated team? Being a Chiefs fan your whole life, out of the AFC West, if you had to rank them most hated to tolerable, what's the order there?
Most hated, I'm probably gonna go with the. I hate to say it because I do love me some Peyton Manning, but I'm gonna put the Broncos at the bottom. Like, I hate the Broncos. Right there. Next up, I'm gonna put the Raiders just because it's the Raiders. I mean,
may I ask why the Broncos?
Just because I don't hate the other teams as much. I mean, that's really the only answer I've got. Nothing really stands out.
I mean, they used to just run the conference for years, though. I think that's kind of where mine hate for him.
I mean, Peyton Manning was there. Respect to Peyton. I love watching Peyton. Anything he does, I got to take it in. But they were dominant for a long time. There were a lot of Broncos fans in my childhood around the area. They were just, living it up.
What's funny for me is, I live western South Dakota, and there's a ton of Broncos fans because Denver's our nearest major city. And to me, the Broncos are the Broncos. They aren't the Packers to me. They aren't New Orleans to me. They're just the Broncos.
Well, you didn't ask me for my most hated team. He specified AFC West.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. But it's crazy to me, the Broncos fans that hate Vikings fans. I was very surprised at that. And it's like, we're not even in the same conference. How do you not like Vikings fans?
Wait, there's other people besides me that hate the Saints?
Trent, which team do you like better, the Saints or the Packers? Or, I mean, it's tough.
Let's just say the Minneapolis Miracle could not have happened to a better team.
No, Sean Payton is a butthole mouth.
This is something we can all agree on.
Does it make you feel better, Ryan, knowing that Kevin James is playing Sean Payton in a movie?
Yes. I was going to bring that up, actually. I saw that today. We're making a movie about a guy that got suspended for his players being paid to hurt other players. And nonetheless, we're making it a comedy, trying to make it, oh, yeah, this guy's a great guy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and Kevin James, of all people, to play him. That's hilarious.
My God.
Yeah, it might as well be a fat guy to play him at this point, right? You wouldn't want like a Brad Pitt to play him where he's kind of good looking. You want a Kevin James character like that.
There was nothing better. I mean, number one, the Minneapolis Miracle had to happen to them. But a minute prior, he's sitting there mocking Vikings fans doing the skull chant, and this happens. It couldn't have happened to a more arrogant person.
So, I mean, if you want to get into my most hated team here, it's down at the bottom, pretty close tie. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Dallas Cowboys edge out the Ravens for that category. I don't know what it is. I've always disliked both those teams. I think my issue with them is that they're, America's team. I freaking hate the Cowboys. Like, they're always on TV. I hate watching it. It's just, I wish the players I liked, like Dak Prescott, were on different teams. That's the only reason I even may keep a Cowboys game on, is because I like Dak.
Why the Ravens? That seems pretty random. I guess AFC, so never mind.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the AFC. They're kind of, again, that team that's always been near the top.
They celebrate their linebacker that murders people.
Yeah,
not the Patriots, huh?
Like, they're
allegedly.
The Patriots are up there as well. I mean, I kind of gloss over them now since Brady's not there.
Mm-hmm. Don't you respect them, though? Like, you can dislike them, but don't you respect them?
I like the Patriots more now than I did when Brady was there. Like,
I like Brady more now that he's not a Patriot. He's freaking funny on social media.
I like the Buccaneers less since Brady's there. That's just the way. I guess that's the way we're wired here, Ryan.
Yep. I'm kind of with Clark. Maybe I just don't like Brady. I think that's it. Like, I really respect Belichick and what he's done with the Patriots, and I really respect what Brady's done. I don't like either one, but I like the Patriots better than I like Brady.
I think Tom Brady gets too much credit, and this is going to go to something else that is on our agenda. I think he gets way too many calls. Like this past weekend, the pass interference on that final drive, complete bullshit. Bullshit. So I just think that's a call that Tom Brady always gets, and I think that's what pisses me off most about the teams he plays for.
Yeah, I think though, I would say as Chiefs fans, we've seen it for years, but now we're starting to see the benefit of it with Mahomes. Where there's definitely calls that we get now that back 5 years ago I go, this is bullshit. We never get those calls, and now that we're getting them, I go, well, now I'm getting my due. I've seen this for years.
I don't know. There's still calls both ways whenever it comes to the Chiefs. So
yeah.
Right. Elsewhere in the Heartland, the Packers and the Bears played. We kind of hit on this already because that was somebody who's undefeated's pick of the week, whatever. Mm-hmm. Packers win 45-30 in a high-scoring game for them, too. It's usually not like that. I guess mostly because the Bears can't score more than about 15 points all year. Bryant did mention the close to the backdoor cover, but that didn't happen because Bryant's still undefeated. Nagy is
I just
still.
knew, dude.
You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, felt it in my bones.
Nagy is still coach. That's been a thing all year that he's going to get fired. And I mean, the Bears play the Vikings this week on Monday Night Football, so the Vikings could save Nagy's job again.
Hey, as long as Nagy's having fun, that's all that matters.
That is true. The Browns, they beat the Ravens. With the Ravens did not have Lamar Jackson. They're back up.
They started with him.
Yes, yeah, he hurt. He was hurt, but
he went out with an ankle injury.
Yep. Now they're back up. Long-term? I haven't heard how long he's going to be.
I haven't seen it either.
Honestly, though, that Huntley, I mean, he looks pretty. They might be just fine without Lamar for a week or two. Let him heal up.
Yeah, once Huntley, I've watched them two games this year where he's come in, and once he settles in, he looks pretty damn good. The last game he actually pulled off and this one they just fell short, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think it is smart for them to have Huntley as their backup because he's basically Lamar. It would make sense for them, like a lot of teams will have, Lamar Jackson's my quarterback, and my second string is Colt McCoy. So yeah, somebody who can't run. So
I am looking here. Lamar Jackson was diagnosed with an ankle sprain. It is not a high ankle sprain. So Lamar Jackson's looking a little bit, just questionable going throughout the week. So if he does practice, he will be evaluated and potentially starting this next weekend. So
nice.
If he can't run, is he worth playing even? I haven't seen a fantastic throwing performance from him in a while.
Well, he had that one game,
Yeah, he had 400 yards in a game earlier this year.
And
was that all passing?
Yes.
Okay.
But that any other performances where he did that though?
I don't think so. I mean, they're few and far between, but he does. I think he is better at throwing than we think he is, and I think he gets a bad rap for as much as he runs. But
I mean, as my old basketball coach used to say, even a blind chicken can find an acorn every now and then.
As Clark sunk a three-pointer.
That's true story. True story, actually. There was this one time I got the ball out on the arc, and I look at the basket, going up for the shot. My coach is on the bench yelling, "No, no, no!" Swish, made it. I just look over there, and he just kind of gives me a stone face, like, "What the hell are you doing shooting that ball?" Well, you're welcome. 3 points. Thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence, coach.
And what was that quote again? What was that saying?
Even a blind chicken can find an acorn every now and then.
All right. Well,
we're just
showing that we are the most Heartland people of all time.
I'm gonna have to dig into that bag of quotes from old Coach McKenzie here.
I guess
he's got almost as many passing yards as Taylor Heineke, more than Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield. I mean,
Mac Jones is really coming alive, though. I mean, they had the Buffalo game where he threw like 2 or 3 times, but Mac Jones is really coming alive the last month or so.
That's what I'm saying, though, is Lamar, I mean, he can put up passing yards. It's just he runs so much that we don't think about it as much as normal. I mean, he's only 300 yards behind Matt Ryan, who is the best quarterback in the league. So there's that.
I'm starting to see where your betting strategies and record are coming into play with Matt Ryan being the best quarterback in the league here.
How many beers have you had?
3 Imperials. But he is only 400 yards behind Aaron Rodgers. Let that sink in. And he's played a game and a half less.
So
right, well, he can have the passing yards. He's got to start leading them soon enough, though.
Yep.
Are we going to get into turnovers and touchdowns, or are we going to just leave that?
I wasn't planning on everyone looking up the stats, just me.
Joey's just going, "Trust me, boys. It looks all good. You don't have to look at it. Any more stats on him."
So just because he's second in the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when Mahomes was broken and now the Chiefs are positive in turnovers now? I mean, that's another thing that people don't like to quite bring up now. But
yeah, I mean, technically he's only got one more interception than Mahomes. So
yeah.
Why this segment?
But he has more though.
Right. Why this segment turned into me sticking up for Lamar Jackson, I have no idea.
All right, so Christmas Day, Kurt Warner's movie comes out, The American Underdog. I've seen a trailer for this. Is anybody going to go see it?
It depends. Is he being played by Kevin James?
God, I wish. If Kurt Warner is played by Kevin James, his wife can be played by Rob Schneider. Adam Sandler can have an appearance. No, I put this one on the agenda because I don't know. I think Kurt Warner's the most Heartland. I don't even know if I'm going to see it. It does have Zachary Levi in there who played Shazam, and I think he was in that show Chuck. So, I mean, he's kind of got the look, I guess. But I don't know. It looks better
than
the football movie.
Does he?
What's that?
Does he have the look? I don't see Kurt Warner in that guy for some reason.
Kurt Warner. I don't know. I think you could put them side by side, Kurt Warner and Zachary Levi. I think they look two and the same. The only issue is Zachary Levi's 40 and he's trying to play Kurt Warner when he's like 20.
Right. That's the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a scene from them in high school, and I'm like, that dude does not look like he's in high school. I know NFL players usually look more mature, but shit, that's like Greg Oden playing a middle school player. Like, that looks pretty bad.
I don't know. I'm looking at a picture side by side of them. They look. I mean, you're obviously not going to have identical twins, but I think that's about as close as you're going to get with two actors here. I'm sending it to the group right now. I think that's about as close as you're going to get at this point.
Is this
actually just as Hall too?
Is this going to theaters or is it streaming?
Theaters, I believe.
Okay.
So, Clark, you being from Missouri, you're a Chiefs fan. Do you like Kurt Warner? Like, what's your thoughts on him?
We got to go back in time here because when the St. Louis Rams were in Missouri, I was a fan. I would have taken them over the Chiefs as my fan had dealt out before Kroenke ruined the franchise and took them out west. So now they're dead to me. Back in the day, yes, I was very much a fan of Kurt Warner. Greatest Show on Turf, Marshall Faulk, The Boys, that Super Bowl back in 1999. One of the best moments of my childhood.
All right, didn't know you were a fan.
Kroenke killed it. Okay, yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. Kroenke.
Kurt Warner, that he's just got one of those guys. I don't know how and again, I think he started in, Northern Iowa, the Panthers, the Division 1A at that point. He's always been in the heartland, Northern Iowa. Then he was a barnstormer. Then he, obviously had the Super Bowl year with the Rams. We're going to forget about the stint that they had to basically, groom Eli before they just started him. But he did all that, and then he actually brought. I think people kind of forget that he brought the Cardinals to a freaking Super Bowl, and probably one of the most entertaining Super Bowls. The last 10, 15, or was that how many years ago? Was that 15 years ago?
That'd have been like 2009.
The Heinz Ward catch Super Bowl.
Yeah, the San Antonio Holmes.
Antonio Holmes. Sorry, yeah.
And then James Harrison returns for a touchdown, like 100 yards right at the end of the first half. If that play wouldn't have happened, the Cardinals probably would have won that Super Bowl. Like, that just shifted all the momentum.
I think that's what you just got to repeat as well. He took the Cardinals to a Super Bowl.
Brian, not only did you mention, we should probably forget about the stint where he grooms Eli. I did. I completely forgot he was a New York Giant. Holy shit.
I think he only started like half the year, and then they just said fuck it and put Eli in there, which I think that's kind of the standard now in the league. Just if we got a rookie, we better just see if he's got it or not at this point.
He played 10 games and had 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Oof, not the greatest stat line.
You say that, Bryant, but then you go to Miami and you got the Tua problem too.
Right.
True.
Tua's great. I think Tua's a good player, but.
Who are they? Are we talking about like they're trying to potentially trade for Watson, or what do you mean?
Well, they just don't. They're finally letting him play full games too.
True.
Yeah, Tua is not the Dolphins' problem. Like that's not their problem.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not Heartland, so
Yeah.
That Miami
Sorry,
might
James.
be the farthest thing from the heartland at this point.
Sorry, James.
We'll
I
let-
wanted to talk Miami for you, but your son-in-law says no. Screw Miami.
We'll let the Lebitard show talk about the Dolphins. We
Yeah.
don't need that shit.
Honestly, I just don't know much about the Dolphins. I mean, what would make them the best? Like, I mean, what do they need to take the next step? Because I see they're technically
offensive
still in the hunt,
line.
too.
Yes.
A line.
Offensive. Yep.
Offensive line.
And they need Devontae Parker to keep embracing a wide receiver 2 role and let Waddle take over that wide receiver 1.
Mhm.
If they do that, I think their passing offense is great, minus the offensive line, like you guys already said.
Who is it? Pats, Bills, Dolphins. Who am I blanking on? Who's the
Jets.
Jets.
Jets?
That's why you're blanking on it.
Easy blank on the Jets. All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up here. So again, thanks for hanging with us. Let us know what you want to hear more. Let's talk about what you liked, what you didn't like. Hit us up on those socials. What are the socials, Joey?
On Twitter and Instagram, hit us up at Heartland Pulse. And on both Facebook and YouTube, check us out and just search Pulse of the Heartland.
All right. And keep your eyes open on the socials for the next podcast. Should come out probably Thursday or Friday with the fun cast.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget to sign up for our college football bowl pool.
Bowl
Exactly.
Mania on
Remember,
ESPN.
if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. If you want to talk shit to us, you got to join that bowl.
And that link is shared where?
It's going to be on our Twitter at Heartland Pulse and then on our Facebook.
Yep.
Perfect.
And we'll also put it on all our stories on Instagram.
All right. We'll see y'all in a couple days.